Good morning. Welcome back to Worthy Ready, the radical self image makeover for women ready to create a life they love. And in order to create a life that we love, we have to see our worth, claim our worth, change that self image that we carry, that a lot of it we're unaware of. And in order to take this radical makeover, we gotta become radical about this. Thank you for your willingness. Thank you for subscribing. My intention is to support you in seeing yourself with new eyes, with fresh eyes, with loving eyes and compassionate eyes. So let's get started. Today we'll take a big first step as I discuss self awareness and how that plays a huge part in being the first step in taking this radical self image makeover. Awareness is everything. After that, I'll discuss a little bit about how early on we have created a story for ourselves as children. The story becomes outdated, but yet it still drives our life, our choices, our relationships, all our experiences. And again, very often we're unaware of this. We know things are off, we complain, we have a whole bunch of frustrating feelings, and yet sometimes we can still scratch our head and say, hey, what gives? What's going on? Why am I not experiencing the joy and peace I desire? So we'll talk about that. I may read a little something from one of my books just to make a point, and then I'll leave you with a really helpful tool and an action step for the week. Remember, I am here uploading a video every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. Guess what? This isn't live. This is recorded. So I want to support everyone in recognizing that you can watch this as many times as you'd like. And I would encourage you, especially if you're a person that loves to take copious notes, put down your pen, put your paper aside, put your phone aside, or put it on vibrate. Give this 20 to 30-minute time where you invest in you. Remember, you can watch it over again and then take notes later. But I find that, we're always running to write something we hear down that we like, or when we see something, we grab our camera so we could take a picture and share it with others. Don't take away from your experience. Take this time for you. You're important. You matter. And this channel and my being here is to support you and your life, so that you can embark with your willingness, curiosity, and fascination on this radical self-image makeover and change your life in a way that makes you dance like no one is watching. So, put your paper aside, put your pen down, put your phone away, and listen. Be with me. Be with me during this time. Everything will be waiting for you, I promise, once we're complete. Okay. So, awareness, I said, is the key. Without the awareness that we have a self image that is grim, or one that doesn't bring about the experiences we want, is useless to talk about unless we're aware of it. We need to bring our awareness over to how we feel about ourselves. So I want everyone to imagine that if I were to ask you to rate yourself, the way you see yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, as 10 being, let's say, so absolutely in love with yourself, you're the idol of who you are, and there's no work being needed here. And one is, well, it's so low that you may not be able to define exactly what it is, but it's down there. And you can tell by the experiences, because that's how we tell. So take a quick moment. You don't have to write this down. Just in your head, rate yourself from 1 to 10. 10 being absolutely head over heels in love with yourself, and 1 being, oh, can't stand who I am. Without judging it, give yourself that number, because we're going to keep going on this worthy scale as we go along on this channel together. And well, you're going to watch it rise. Okay, so let's start off and let's talk about how this radical self image makeover is a safe exploration that I will support you to take as you move along your journey and discover how you truly feel about yourself. Now, number one, we all wear our personas. We all wear masks of some kind. I was the people pleaser. I'm a people pleaser in reform. But whatever we fall, whatever we know, whether it's a people pleaser mask or, just being kind, the mask of just appearances count, and we go out in the world and, we're all primped and proper and we are showing a view of ourselves to people. Very often we'll hide things we don't want people to know. But unbeknownst to us, everything is truly picked up in energy. That's why in the first episode, I mentioned how the way we treat ourselves, we will be treated by others and they will reflect back to us the energy cues they pick up on us. Remember, people know who they can treat badly and who they cannot. That's a given. So, with all that, let's bring our attention to our awareness and recognize that early in childhood, when we're very little, where we are emotionally underdeveloped, we make meaning of things in order to make sense of the world, of other people, of ourselves, of our caretakers. We make meaning of everything in order to survive. And because we're emotionally underdeveloped, a lot of that meaning is not only very personal, it could be very negative, depending on what's said to us, the body language that we read, um, the way our caretakers treat us, whether we feel safe in our surroundings, and so forth. We start making meaning about others, the world, and ourselves, and that meaning starts to create the story. The story is filled with beliefs, values, um, incidents, and experiences that happen that we add meaning to. And very often, this story that starts very, very early continues into adulthood, driving our choices, our actions, our behavior, and creating experiences that very often make us feel upset, angry, sad, confused, depressed, whatever it is. So, this is about the story that's created early on in life that continues and lives within us, almost like a set of instructions that we operate by. And we will live in this story until we finally unconceal this story, look at the beliefs that were created in it, the non credentialed judges that labeled and defined us, and again begin to take charge and action to make changes. Now, one thing I can say for sure is if we're not making changes with the things that we don't like in life, we are choosing them. If we're not changing them, we're choosing them. Remember, inaction is just as much a choice as action. Okay, so we talked about the story, and we want to bring our awareness now to this story. So, the question I would like to ask, particularly because this channel was created with the intention for people who have experienced toxic love, divorce, narcissistic abuse, mostly romantic upset through marriage and so forth, because I believe for most of us, We tend to believe, us women, that at least we did earlier, maybe not all of us anymore so far, but we at once believed if we find Mr. Right, we will be happy. If we find that person that lately they're calling it my ride or die, whatever that really means, that's what will make us happy. So all our efforts are most likely put toward love, finding love, being loved, and being seen. And I can promise you, as a 67-year-old woman that's been divorced 3 times, that has gone through many betrayals, and I'm an avid enabler, at least I was, I can tell you, we most yearn for our own love and approval. We will not find it in the outer world. Remember that song, We're Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places? Well, the outside is the wrong place. The true love is within, and it's the love and approval of the self that, once again, I will remind you consistently and constantly, the relationship you have with yourself will be reflected back to you by all others. The sooner you start to connect this, your life will unfold in ways that are truly magical. We'll continue talking about that. So let's stay focused on our awareness now. The question I want to ask you is, what did you do for love? What did you do for love? It's a loaded question, and you're not going to come with an answer right now, but it's something to think about. And hopefully when you rewatch this video, that's when you'll take notes and you'll write down this question. Now, remember, just listen. Just listen. Because our brains absorb really well when we're not distracted with writing down and doing other things. So stay with me. What did you do for love? I know when I answer that question, my answer is, what didn't I do for love? I did everything for love. I was devoted. I was committed. I was giving. I was overgiving. I was people pleasing. I was doing. I was overdoing. I was in my relationships and doing more and then doing some more. And whenever I thought it wasn't enough, I'd do some more, and I drove myself crazy, and I enabled really bad behavior, and I took all the responsibility, and so on and so forth. Oh my gosh. Well, what did you do for love? And knowing that whatever you did for love had a lot to do with the self-image you carried then, the story you were living in then, the hope and the desire that drove you, the fantasy you were committed to that had you ignore the red flags or step over them. Whatever it was, whatever you did for love, I want to assure you, reassure you, acknowledge you, and ask that you acknowledge yourself, that whatever you did for love, from love, for love, about love, is a natural, normal way in the world to survive and thrive. Do not beat yourself up over anything you find here. Remember, in this radical self-image makeover, we are building a comfort zone. I'm going to actually refer to it more as a comforting zone. We are going to build a no tolerance zone. We're going to take many steps here. Step number 1, awareness. Today's all just about awareness. Just become aware. Okay, so let me just go over my notes so I don't leave anything out for you. I want to talk about the declarations that we make when we are at our wits' end, when we're up to here, when yet another betrayal has happened in our life. We're scratching our head. We don't understand. We do so much. We put in so much effort. Why are we not reaping the benefits? Why do we feel so unloved? Why do we feel offended, abused? And how many times, next question, how many times have you said the two words, actually three words, I am done or I'm done? How many times have you declared, I'm done or never again? No one's ever going to treat me like that again. How many times over the years have we said the same thing? So let me tell you about I'm done, the declaration I'm done. Well, it's a good place to get to, and it feels pretty good when you say it. But there's kind of a dead endness to it. There's no action plan for it. We tend to ruminate and go over things in our mind and ponder and contemplate. It can drive us crazy, just batshit crazy, right? So, I'm done is a different kind of declaration altogether than the one we're embarking on now, which is worthy ready. I'm worthy ready. There's a path in front of that. There are steps to take to claim your worth, to finally say, no more, this will never happen again, because I am taking the measures to look at myself, to love myself, and to be there for myself. So where I'm done is a cry for help. I'm worthy ready is the battle cry. Worthy ready is the battle cry. I'm ready to do whatever I need to do to experience the joy and peace that I deserve. I'm going to declare it and I'm going to claim it. So that's important to note. So now we're in the awareness. We're starting, we've claimed. Now, are you with me? Write in the comments if you're with me that you're worthy ready. If you're worthy ready, write worthy ready in the comments. And I'll know that you're with me, that you're here, that this channel is important, and that what I'm doing is to support you and you're resonating so far. Okay, so awareness is everything. Awareness of your life early on, that scale of 1 to 10, how you rate yourself in terms of how you feel about yourself, recognizing that we all make meaning with everything in order to make sense of ourselves, others, and the world. And that creates a story that's driving us even today. And all our patterns are embedded in that. Our beliefs, our choices, our actions, our behavior, everything comes from this outdated story. So little by little, we're going to work to expose it. And I want to remind you, let's be compassionate, no beating ourselves up. Here at Worthy Ready, the Radical Self-Image Makeover is about building a comforting zone so you can step out of your comfort zone and come back into your comforting zone and feel free to seize opportunities in that way because you always have you and a place to stand for you. The I'm worthy ready is about having your back. The battle cry is about having your back, standing for you. Okay, so as we move on, I'd like to share with you, and you don't have to share this with anyone, but 3 questions that I'm going to leave you with to answer at your leisure. When you think of your past relationships with others, with all the efforts you put forth to love and to be loved, okay? So when you think of your past relationships, and all the efforts you put forth to be loved and to love. And you've experienced what has come forth. And I'm assuming that being that you're on a channel about a radical self image makeover, that not all your experiences were good, and that you've experienced a degree of heartache and heartbreak, perhaps trauma, most likely drama, and abuse in your life. So, with that in mind, 3 questions for homework are: what are you angry about? What are you sad about? And who do you blame? What are you angry about? What are you sad about? And who do you blame? If you want to come back and share answers in the comment section so others can see and contribute, and we could create a community as well as just coming here and watching me, that would be lovely. Again, you don't have to. This can be just for you. And again, this channel is about your relationship with you. So if you prefer to stay private, I get it. Okay, next week, we're going to be talking about self forgiveness. And we're going to be talking about self forgiveness for a very, very long time. Again, the first step is awareness, because without being aware of something, without acknowledging there's even an issue, we can't make a change. But once we see an issue and we see something that we're not happy with, remember, we either change it or we choose it. So remember, this is important to recognize that we yearn most for our own love and approval. That is something so important to remember. I can't stress that enough. We seek it in the outer world, but we don't realize it's within us, for us, from us, our own love and approval. Very important to always remember that. And remember, again, I will say this till the cows come home, the relationship you have with yourself will be reflected back with the relationship you have with others. They will show you the relationship you have with yourself. We're always going to be talking about that. And so I want to conclude with a little, let's just say, I like to have somewhat a sense of humor in a lot of this dark, sort of heartache topic. And it's important. A sense of humor is very important because it helps us to connect with ourselves and to not make everything so futile. We want to have faith that our life is on the right track, and being here is a great start. Okay, so I'm going to read from my book, My Dearest Self, I Forgive You. We are going to talk a lot about My Dearest Self, I Forgive You, as self forgiveness is a huge step in the radical self makeover, self image makeover. It's a radical step. And I can tell you, it's such a big step that it will open up many channels within you to receive much information that maybe right now you can't even access because, a lot of times we're blocked and we have fear around painful situations in our lives. So we could also repress. So this is about recognizing a sense of humor is important as well. We don't want to make light of things or minimize things, but there's nothing wrong with having somewhat of a laugh here. So I wrote this as a story to make a point about romance and about relationships. And it's on page 35 of the hard-covered version of My Dearest Self, I Forgive You. The Essential Steps to Embracing Your Journey and Loving Your Life. This book is a gem for me. I just absolutely refer to it constantly and consistently for the loving, beautiful, comforting messages within. This is called A Little Romance, A Lot of Aggravation. When Jack met Jill, he was over the hill infatuated with her. He saw all the light and good things about her. Her beauty captivated him, and he blushed when she laughed at his jokes, the sort of funny anecdotes that many others found odd and obnoxious. Jill was attracted to Jack's confidence and how he became successful at the young age of 32. He was the middle child between a younger sister and older brother, and his parents were very much in love, as was evident in their touchy-feely demonstrations at parties. Jill counted on this as a good sign of things to come. Shortly after the honeymoon, Jack and Jill quickly realized they had made a big mistake. Jill was beginning to find Jack's jokes odd and obnoxious, and Jack didn't think Jill was as pretty after gaining 20 pounds overnight. The divorce was quick and nasty. They didn't speak again. Moral of the story: Jack didn't like Jack, Jill didn't like Jill, and they played house. It was all predictable. We must love ourselves to come together and love others. Be careful how you interpret romance, for true love resides within you and for you. You must access it on your own. It is your approval that you most yearn for. Take a step forward on your behalf. The path to self-love is self-forgiveness. Commit to this process and playful out. And that's where we're going next week. We're going to start with self-forgiveness. I left you with your questions. That's your proactive step, including being really nice and kind with yourself. Super nice and kind. And I'm going to throw in a little energy tool right now that I think is really fun. Just like it pays to set intentions for the day, for example, getting up in the morning and saying, this is going to be a great day, I just know it. That's an intention. You're setting forth an intention of what you'd like the day to bring. And very often intentions show up. There's also energy things we could do with our imagination. And one of them is, well, sometimes people like to imagine themselves in a bubble. It kind of protects them. It makes them feel more confident, more protected and safe from other people's energy, and even sharing our own energy with other people, as we're always exchanging energy. So again, some people see themselves in a bubble. Some people put on some kind of a hazmat suit, just as an imagination. Well, I'm going to put something on right now over my head. I'm going to tell you what it is. In through the arms. I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to fasten the sides. And there I have it. My bully proof vest. You heard that right. Bully proof vest. To ward off bullies and to remember I deserve to be treated with respect. So again, it's just an imagination. Put it over your head, make it the material you want it to be. Put your arms through the sleeves, pull it down, fasten it, whether with fasten, with buttons, with zippers. You make your own bully suit. But wear it. Wear your bully proof suit this week. And just using that as a tool, notice how different and shifted you become and how protected you feel. I enjoyed speaking with you today, and I look forward to next week. Have a great week. Bye for now.